Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Descent into Avernus. Thank you, Twitch moderators, for taking care of the raffle for us, handing out some codes. If you won one, congratulations. And if not, you get another chance next week. We're doing another 5 codes, same time during the next episode. So for us, however, it is time to visit the Low Lantern. So it is, of course, that kind of neutral gray. It could either be early morning or early evening here in the lovely city of Baldur's Gate. It is kind of raining. Your cloaks are sodden and damp by the time you arrive at the Low Lantern. And as a result, this strange and somewhat sketchy looking bar has an almost inviting atmosphere. You can see why so many people in the lower city, once the lights dim and the streets become dangerous, they seek to avoid their lot in life by visiting places such as this. The Low Lantern itself, as I mentioned before, is it's a bit of a double joke in the sense that it's low lantern in the sense that it's kind of dark, but also it's low in the water. It's a ship. It's a 3-masted merchant ship that has been permanently docked in the harbor. It is clearly not seaworthy any longer, but has now an opening in the hull with a gangplank leading down. And as you get close, as you pass through the fog that is pervasive down in the harbor, the tall mast and creaking bulk of the Low Lantern comes into view. The converted ship has rigging but no sails and is anchored by thick chains to the wharf. The wooden staircase climbs up from the wharf's edge to the main deck. A lantern at the bow casts an eerie green light to signify the tavern is open for business.
All right, great. Just some preparatory magic before we go and do some talking. I will cast comprehend languages, just in case anyone tries to speak anything weird.
Yeah, okay. Excellent.
Might as well.
It occurs to me, Adam, that I should mention that I no longer have disguise self.
Okay.
So I'm always snake mode.
Yeah, you're like, forget pretending to be human. This city, if you can't handle me at my most yuan tea, you don't deserve me at my most human.
I needed my improved pack blade, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. That is a great choice. Get rid of the other.
Dandar's like, stop hiding and take this weapon.
Get rid of the other cruft and just be like, listen, if you don't like it, I'm gonna kill you. Okay. All right. So, the Low Lantern awaits.
So I think I go in with the intention of finding someone to like meet with, using the criminal contact stuff, Adam, like someone in Amric's organization.
Okay.
Like with everybody, obviously.
Yeah. Does it say how long it takes for you to use that ability? Because you don't have a lot of time if you go straight there.
It doesn't say how long.
So why don't we just play out that, like, ability? Let's just have it happen, like where you can come in and you can ask around and you can kind of make your...
It's sort of just a facilitator for you to say, like, this is a person who is relevant.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So you ascend up onto the top deck, right? The main deck of the ship. This is as you come in. So the main deck of the old ship features wooden steps that climb to the forecastle and aft castle. And you can imagine that if it was ever properly summer in Baldur's Gate, this would be a real nice place to hang out, right on the deck of a ship, drinking and having food, and like it'd be a pretty nice patio. Unfortunately, this ship is stuck in Baldur's Gate, which is a massive shithole, so it's just wet and like slightly rotten on top.
So it's a ship's hold in a shithole, huh?
Yeah, exactly. If this ship had instead like been permanently moored somewhere like, I mean, not Saltmarsh, but somewhere a little further away, this might have been a different situation. But you get up top and you see, I guess from here, you would see a wooden hatch fitted with windows in the center. So they've repurposed a cargo hatch and they put glass into it, so it acts as a skylight from the next floor. And the tavern itself is visible, though not very well, through the glass panes of that hatch. There are, oddly, 4 dead seagulls lying on the deck of the ship. And up above, 2 enormous ravens squawk at you as you climb up. You can see them on the crow's nest a good 40 feet up in the mist. And they just crow at you
I think I know what
loudly
killed the seagulls. Jesus.
as you come up. And yeah, there's just 4 brutally killed seagulls just laying in their own bloodstained feather pile
Why would they
no,
leave
on the
them
deck.
there?
Yeah.
Can't go and play with them. No.
Why would they just leave? I mean, should we clean them up?
No.
Not our job.
I mean, it's not very nice for people who are just coming to.
Fine. Mage hand, I pick one up.
Okay.
I bring it to you.
Gross.
Put
So
it
you
in
reach
your,
out with
like,
mage
hands.
hand and you levitate this sodden body and you
Is it
swear,
wet?
yeah, of course it's wet. Everything's wet. You're outside in Baldur's Gate. And you swear that the ravens are laughing at you while they watch.
And I'd go to deposit it into your hands.
I take it.
Okay. Yeah, gross, but no, maybe not for November. So November,
I mean,
this
is it freshly dead or is
make
it
a medicine check.
a long time dead? Because it's food. A medicine check.
Yes.
I get a 7.
Okay. All right.
I don't have advantage. I
Yeah.
was that not advantage.
You can't tell anything about it except that it's dead. It
Wouldn't
seems
it
to
be
have.
survival?
No, it's medicine. It has it looks like it was toyed with after it was killed, and so it's impossible for you to tell what killed it. Yeah.
While the seagulls.
There is obviously, and in case it wasn't clear, there's a staircase that leads down into the tavern. You're on the roof of the tavern right now.
Yeah.
I tell the dog to go fetch the rest of the seagulls.
Right.
I
That's
would
supposed
say-
to weird you out. But
Okay, so November, your dog goes over to one of the seagulls, sniffs the body, and then makes a whining sound and backs away from it and looks at you like, I don't want to put that in my mouth.
Oh, what's wrong?
It just comes over and whines at you.
Okay.
The ravens continue to caw at you.
Huh. That's never happened before.
just
Seagulls-
ask them what's so funny. You can do
Seagulls
that
are
apparently
full of
now.
parasites.
Are they?
I don't know. I'm just.
They're not common where you're from, November. These are just big birds. You recognize them, but
Druid it.
Couldn't you just ask the ravens?
Do you ravens?
shout out to them, ravens.
What's with the seagulls?
The ravens just laugh and laugh and laugh as if it's the funniest thing they've ever seen.
Is it a joke?
They just keep, they're not
I
gonna.
don't understand.
They're just laughing at you.
Throw a rock at him.
This is unpleasant, gesturing at the dead birds.
I go over to
I'm
them
going
and
inside.
and
Yeah, I'm
pick
with
them
you.
up. I pick them up and I go to deposit them off the side of the ship.
Okay, all right. So you pick up the and you just return them to the sea. Bloop.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yep.
I mean-
yeah, your dog looks up at you like, yep, job well done. Can we go inside now? And shakes off rainwater.
I am
know,
going
just
inside.
call
Yeah,
you-
Sathra, you're already on your way in.
Just
Same
calling
with
you
Bryn, I
dog
think.
is probably not going to work out. And I pet the dog on the head.
Okay.
Do you have a preference?
It barks, making kind of a recognizable sound, but it doesn't. I mean, dogs don't have names. Animals don't need names. That's a human thing.
No. All right then.
So you want to head in?
I go in.
Head
yeah.
inside? Okay. All right. I'm going to put you up on the deck. I've got a map for the inside and it's quite cool. So I'm going to show it to you.
Sweet.
Great.
So let's swing over to the lantern.
I love maps because it means we're going in the right direction.
I mean, I've put together some maps too for this adventure. So this is everybody kind of this is upstairs, right? And then this entrance right here leads you down. So Sathra, I'll put everybody downstairs. There we go. November. I think I maybe forgot November's dog, but that's fine. Okay. So you come down around and there's a door marked private as soon as you come around the corner. And then somebody steps out as they hear you coming and they give you a look. It is a, oh yeah, here's the dog. There you go. The person that gives you a look, they're clearly a bouncer. Like just clearly like wearing like just like a sleeveless shirt. They've got nautical tattoos on both
Sweet
arms.
anchor tattoos.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Shaved head. And this is the second time you see a well-loved clubbing stick. And he just kind of peers around the corner and like nods and then goes back to his seat at the bar. So this level, you see right in front of you, another set of stairs that goes down, and there's a bunch of people in here. You see a gray-skinned dwarf and a human sitting at a table here. You see a bunch of other humans. At a glance, you can see two like mirror images of one another, two elves, dark-skinned elves over on the corner here. And the bartender is an enormous anthropomorphic bird person. You see black feathers and a shiny beak as this creature is serving a person in front of them. I think there's a pretty good chance that you recognize the proprietress of this business. She's sitting over here. Can you make a history check for me, Sathra?
Can I have Sosorova make a history check instead and help them?
Yeah. How do you do that? Do you stop to say like, isn't that?
Yeah, I think there's a moment between us that's like, do you remember her name? You know, like kind of like it would be easier.
I know everyone.
Yeah, I think baseline you'll get her name, but
Dice.
then I'll give you a quick description of her. 21,
21
not
plus.
bad. Okay,
And
so
that is why I wanted Sosorova to do it.
I'm gonna say her name, and then we're gonna refer to her as something different for the rest of the adventure because I will not be able to pronounce her name consistently over and over, and she has a nickname anyway. So the owner and proprietress of this locale, her name is Laraelra Thundrith. Laraelra Thundrith. But you know that everybody around here calls her the captain. So you see her over there. You see Laraelra. She is seated at the short end of the bar and just kind of like taking in the place, watching her customers come in. She looks up and notices you. She's a human woman in her kind of early 40s, I believe. Yeah. And she has a tiny crab perched on her shoulder. It's a little like hockey puck sized crab sitting on her shoulder. And I think she picks maybe she's eating like an early dinner or something. And she picks a piece of chicken or something off of a bone and holds it up. And the crab like grabs it and like chews it up. And so you see her in the room. There are, of course, other people around, but I'll save describing them in any great detail until you want to have a conversation with them. Until it matters, yeah.
Right. Do your thing.
All right. I step forward like towards the captain, who is this person.
She's over here, yeah.
Yeah, this person. And sort of have a little like we'll exchange with her if I can.
Yeah. You walk over and she sees you coming and she puts on a smile, right? It's a very customer service smile. Have you ever met her before? Did the two of you know each other at all?
Probably. I mean, I'm
going to make a history check for her to see if she recognizes you.
Sure. I mean, I'm pretty recognizable.
Yeah. Should we give her advantage?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a 25. Even without the advantage.
Okay,
so she recognizes you. So she sees you and she smiles and she says, Sathra, was it? Well
That's
met. Right. Good to see you again. Who are your friends?
Some folk I'm working with at the current point in time.
And she looks past you as the rest of you come into the room. So we see Sosorovo come down the stairs and around the corner. And out into the fairly crowded room, and then November following, and then November's dog, and then Bryn,
Bryn at the very back,
who definitely has to duck to get into this place.
She also waves as soon as she sees Sathra.
Yeah. And so Lorella, the captain, she says, well, what brings you down here this evening?
I was actually hoping to get a meeting with Mr. Van Thamper.
And she leans back and she says, well, that should be possible, but it's Lord Van Thamper. And she makes a face that indicates like, I'm not chastising you. It's just he's going to. So.
And Sathra's smile is that thin smile of like, yeah, of course. Like.
So she says, you don't strike me as somebody who needs to come to a man like Lord Van Thamper for a loan.
Well, we all have hard times. Not to mention, there's plenty of other business that Lord Van Thamper is involved in.
You're not here to cause trouble, are you, Sathra?
I would never dream of it, Captain.
Can you make a deception check?
Yeah. Of course
I would never dream of it. It is my only dream.
Can I use one of the
You want to use one of the pile
the group in advantages?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't save how many we have, but
we have like
We
16.
have 16 with the one you've just used.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
All right, yes, go ahead.
17.
Okay. So she nods and she says, well, good, because we don't want any trouble around here. I mean, sometimes a little trouble livens up the place, but she kind of looks around. You gonna buy a drink before you go have your meeting, or you in a big hurry?
Do you have anything other than ale?
She
Last place we went
says.
to, it was just
November,
ale,
like,
and it was
popping
room
up behind
temperature,
She says she doesn't know and has to check.
and it was rather bad. I didn't like it.
She says, well, sweetheart, you're in the lower city, so everything's rather bad. But I've some rum around here somewhere, I think. And she turns, and the Kenku bartender is like, around here somewhere.
Ah, yes, rum. You should certainly serve up some rum for November. That
I've never had rum before.
hilarious.
And she looks at the Kenku, and then the Kenku like starts pouring you a glass and puts it on the table. And I
Is
don't know
rum made from like sugar cane?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
sugar cane.
Yeah, there wouldn't be that in.
No. Yeah. I don't know what a glass of rum is, like a silver, a couple of
Probably.
copper. I don't know. And he puts it on the counter.
I want to see. I'm gonna make a constitution. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. It's
All right.
fine.
You drink it.
Yeah, it's fine. I got a 19 on a random constitution save to see whether or not I could stomach just rum.
Yeah, it's fine. You're a grown up. So while all this is happening, Sosorovo, are you like scoping out the place? You doing anything in particular?
Yeah, I'm listening in to people. I precast my comprehend languages.
Yep.
As well, just in case people kind of change to a language they wouldn't expect us to.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to listen into the conversations. Like, okay, we need to watch these people, or
Okay.
you know, whatever.
I think you've got one. You can overhear one table's worth of conversation. So like these two, obviously the folks over here and here aren't talking to themselves. So you can either listen in on the gray-skinned dwarf, who actually you would recognize because you're a Svirfneblin. He's no mere gray-skinned dwarf. It's a Durgar.
Yes.
They are Underdark dwarves. So you recognize, and you probably have this look, like you both look at each other like, Svirfneblin? Durgar? Like,
There's also like 2 drow over there.
And then again, you look
also,
around and you're like, wait a
how much-
second, there's some drow over here.
How much of Sosorovo's like actual skin is showing anyway?
Like none.
There is a good chance that this guy, I mean, if he sees your eyes, might think you're also a Durgar. So he's definitely looking at you like, who are, but not for long, right? He just
I'm like a
glances at you.
baby.
Yeah.
I'm a baby Durga.
Yeah, exactly. You're too short and too narrow to be a so he's probably assuming you're some kind of gnome or whatever. Anyway, and then there's the two twin brothers over here at this table, the drow.
Yeah, we'll listen to these ones first.
Okay. All right. So that conversation, Make a perception check. You can understand them. They're speaking common, though quietly, and the Durgar is speaking it very heavily accented. He's got a very strong Underdark accent, and I don't know what that sounds like.
Okay.
Mongolian, maybe.
I think we clarified that they sound Australian because
Yeah,
from
'cause
down
the land
under.
down under.
Oh my god, that totally recontextualizes all the Driz to Orden novels. Crikey, Grenwyvar, we gotta get out of here. That's so fucking good. All right, you got a 9? Okay.
Yes.
So you pick up bits and pieces of them like talking. Everybody in here's talking kind of quietly and, trying to keep their conversation from anyone else. But you get the impression, you get names and a few other things. So the human's name is Skadric. And Skadric is a Flaming Fist soldier, and you find that out because he spends the whole conversation complaining about a recent suspension. He's like, suspension? I'll show them, that damn captain. He thinks he can kick me off. I'll be back, I swear. And he like drinks his beer. And next to him, his friend, whose name is, and I fucking shit you not, Grimboot. Grimboot, who is a gruff, cross-eyed Durgar, mostly nods and is like commiserating, like, yep, nope. As Skadric is like, and then I said to him, I was like, you can't treat me this way, Captain. Maybe you need to turn in your sword and your badge. And so he's just like going on about it. And the two of them they're having this conversation.
I'm very happy about this. I love gossip.
Mm-hmm.
So just
yeah. A member of the guard a member of the Flaming Fist named Skadric was suspended for something, and now he's drinking in a tavern.
Kind of bad, actually, because they're pretty terrible people officially.
Yeah, right.
Who is the person next to me at the bar?
Let me see if that person has a name. Yes, that's a halfling.
Okay.
It is okay. So it's a halfling, and he is wasted already. And he's leaning on the bar, humming to himself. He has a pair of spectacles, but they keep sliding off of his admittedly like quite large nose. They keep sliding off and falling, and he's like, oops, like picks them up, puts them back on, like blinks a couple of times and drinks some more, and then just like goes back to humming to himself.
I recently heard a song, a fairly rare one from what I understood at the Elf Song Tavern.
And you just say this to this person?
Yeah, just start talking to the
then
person
he
next
turns and he's like, you
to me. Knocks on my
addressing
door.
Are you addressing me?
Yes.
Well, you're a frosty drink of water, aren't you?
Yes to the first one, no to the second.
It's a metaphor, my dear. He like pats the bar with his chubby hand. I am Prin Daring Whistle. And he like puts his spectacles back on his nose. He says, and I'm glad to hear you appreciated my humming. No one around here likes when I sing, but I've got a very lovely voice. I could sing something for you now if you like.
What songs do you know?
Mostly old sea shanties.
Oh, or were you a sailor?
Oh, no, I hate boats. Well, the upper part of the boats. My job, and he puts a hand up like, don't interrupt me till I'm done. I'm very important. My job is that when a ship comes in, my friends and I clean the boat. And not just any part of the boat. Anyone can swab a deck. We go under the water and scrape off the barnacles. It's a very important job. You can't let the barnacles grow. They'll eat up a hull. It's true.
I will.
It's true.
I'm not very familiar with boats.
I can hold my breath for a very, very long time. Would you like to see?
She I don't know if she has a watch, but she starts counting under her breath.
Okay. All right. Yes, he can hold his breath for a long time. He's not kidding.
Nice,
and
cool.
he looks at some point when you start to be concerned. He looks at the barkeep, the Kenku, who just rolls his eyes, and he looks back at you see, I'm fine. I'm still fine. He started turning purple.
Oh, maybe you should take a breath.
And he shakes his head and folds his arms no, I can do this forever. And then eventually he's and he coughs. He's like, And that's just casual. I mean, when I do it for real, it's much longer.
Imagine if someone was doing that and you cast like Unseen Servant and had it cover their nose and mouth.
Oh no!
They try and breathe like.
Yeah.
Well, that's very
funny.
impressive.
And he nods. He says, I know. It's a talent. You know, they say if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And when I'm down there scraping barnacles off the bottom of some beautiful boat, I tell you, it's right. It's right. What do you do? He like leans on the bar.
Well, I used to be back in Icewind Dale. I used to just kind of be around helping with the animals and stuff. But then I had this dream. It was awful. And I came down to Baldur's Gate to save the city from
And he's nodding.
sinking
And
into the flames.
he says, he's clearly not listened to like anything. He's like, that's very interesting. You're quite pretty, you know that?
Thank you.
You say you're from Icewind Dale.
Around there.
I've got a third cousin, twice removed on my mother's side, I think lives up that way.
You keep track of your family to that extent.
Of course I do. I know every daring whistle from here to Chondath.
I've never been there.
Well, neither have I. There's no daring whistles there.
Oh. So from here to not quite Chondath then.
And he nods. He says, most of us live around Baldur's Gate, to be entirely honest with you.
I'm just going to go on with
Yeah,
this
so the
unless
two of
someone
you
has something
continue
more
to talk. He will
interesting
just
to say.
he'll talk at you as long as you're willing to listen. Meanwhile, Bryn, what are you doing?
Bryn's watching?
Like standing next to the bouncer looking tough?
Yeah, I think she, like, it's small in here. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of space for her. So I think she, like, goes inside and, like, tries to get to her friends. And so it's just this very long, awkward process of her, like, trying to get past that. Like, excuse, sorry, I need to,
Yeah, and as you kind of like move past the bouncer, he says he was like, "Hey," like, to stop you.
What?
He gives you a look up, and he's like, "You lift?"
I've lifted many things frequently.
How
Yes.
much?
Oh, you're asking about a strength of physical contest.
he-
Right.
He
right.
nods and he says, "Yeah, you clearly you work out. I can tell."
Well, my axe is quite heavy.
And he leans over and he looks at it. He's like, "Nice."
I feel like there's some like anchor tattoo flexing going
Yeah.
on.
Oh yeah.
He's trying.
I don't know if
hard.
Bryn, can you make an insight check?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Not actually terrible at this. 4. I'm terrible at this.
Okay, so
Yeah, Bryn has no idea what's going on.
you probably misinterpret the face that he is making as if maybe he's like constipated or something, because he's making this like he's like, well, yeah, that's a cool axe, and he keeps like shifting in his chair, and like, and he's like,
Are you all right, friend?
and he nods. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Oh yeah, doing good.
You appear to be making strange noises.
Shakes his head. No, I'm not. What are you talking about?
Can I
Right.
make an insight check? Because
No, you are
okay.
trapped in the hobbits.
That's fine.
Fucking
I'm
self-indulgent
going
talk.
To go further into here, if that is all right with you.
Yeah. So he, as you go by, he's like, of course. Just, I'm causing you trouble or anything, because I'd have to, stop you.
Right. Yes. Well, that would be a problem.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to.
okay.
I wouldn't want to, make you feel. I'd have to get you out of here if you get. So just behave yourself
Of course.
while you're in there.
I'm like a little worried about all this flirting on an out of game level because I'm really hoping Amric doesn't start.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who do you think I'm saving for you, Sathra?
Oh God.
So I think with all this bullshitting, Sosorovo does have an opportunity, if you want, to overhear a conversation between these two, between the Dark Elves, if you'd like. So you like sneak over there. Make another perception check. So
Sorry.
Cerebro.
Yes.
So these two are speaking in Undercommon to one another.
Why can't they be speaking something I don't already speak? Whole magic spell and everything.
Fine, they're speaking giant. I don't know. No, they're so you
I think I also speak giant.
God damn it. Like I speak 99% of all languages, but I get the spell just in case. All right, with a 16, I'll tell you, you get their names. Right. So these two, they are dressed. If I tell you, imagine what an adventurer looks like, that's how they're dressed. You see two big backpacks on the floor. They have like mess kit hanging off of them. You can see like they've got their bedroll underneath. They're both wearing probably like, I think chainmail. Yep. They're both wearing chainmail armor. They have swords in their like their scabbards, but everything they're wearing looks like new. Like the armor has no indication it's ever been struck with a weapon. The swords they seem like they've maybe never been drawn. Certainly the adventuring gear hasn't been used.
Level 1 adventurers.
And the two of them are sitting here talking, and one of them is complaining to the other. So one of them is saying like, I can't believe we came all the way up here and nothing. I mean, the city's clearly in crisis. These humans have no idea how to handle infrastructure and refugee crisis. I mean, come on. But you said that if we came all the way over here, that there'd be something to do. And the other is like, we just have to be patient. You know, like a spider. And the other one's like, oh, cut it out with that spider shit. We're several days away from home now. Just let it go. I know you've got some programming to work through, and so the two of them are just kind of bickering like siblings. You pick up that they both have the very traditional drow names of Belden and Aerith. And then midway through the conversation, Aerith gets stabbed through the back by a giant sword by a long-haired dude. Just dies instantly. None of your healing magic will work on him. He's just dead. That's how it goes. Sorry. So the two of them they seem to be complaining. One of them convinced the other. Aerith convinced Belden to come to Baldur's Gate in search of adventure, and Belden is like, why haven't we had any adventure yet? And Aerith is like, patience, brother, soon. And so the two of them are just having that conversation.
Okay.
There are other people, but these two are just sitting and drinking.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I've done
Sitting and drinking and saying nothing.
Just
like
sitting and drinking.
psychopaths.
Yeah. So this staircase is the staircase down.
I'm still waiting for the he's somewhere in this boat.
Yes, and I think that's the thing is that La Railra, the captain, we come back to Sathra, and the two of you have been making like polite conversation, and then the captain says, he's been renting out the lounge deck to operate this business. There are a couple of customers down there now, but you're welcome to go ahead.
Well, thank you. And I do go ahead.
And you lead the way downstairs?
Indeed.
All right, does everybody follow?
Yeah. I have to like forcibly excuse myself from the halflings conversation about barnacles and singing.
Yeah. Sea shanties and barnacles, they're his jam. So let me place you downstairs. All right, so the group of you come down to what is now called the lounge deck, and it's much quieter down here. You take a look around, you walk by another bouncer who kind of gives you like a nod, right? Just letting you know I see you and you see me, and you come down, and when you come around the corner, you can see that there are couches down here, like upholstered furniture that's been brought down. Yep. So there's couches over here, there's a couple over here. Yes, this is the alarming thing that you notice in the room, but we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to bury the lead real deep. So first, on this level, the first person you see sitting at the bar, let me see. Maybe the lounge deck has a descriptor that I can give you. Let's see. This is the Tavern Lounge. Okay, so you see this guy, but I don't... Oh, here we go. This is a human man. He's got red hair. It's tied back in a ponytail, and he seems to be sitting here drinking by himself. And then a few seats away at the other end of the bar, there's a woman here. She has dark skin. She has a heavy cloak covering her shoulders. The hood is down, and she has what probably, if it were down, would be like long, dark braids. But she's got them all piled up on top of her head, and her hood is wet. You can still see like rain on her hood, but her head and stuff are clear. She has two white, they're either paint or something, like dots in the middle of her forehead, and she doesn't look like she's here like with anybody. She might just be waiting to meet with Amric. She's sitting at the bar.
And she has a different thumbnail or icon than everyone else, so she's obviously important.
I had to cut art for her from another piece of concept art because there wasn't a token, and I thought it'd be cool to have one.
It is.
But yes, so you see her there. And then at the back of the room, as you come in, you see
sleazy boy himself.
You see two things. You see Lord Amric Van Thamper sitting at a table. He's got his boots up on the table, and he is sitting there, and he's flipping through what appears to be a ledger. And perched on the back of the couch is this nasty looking creature. It's only a little bit smaller than Sosorovo. It is dark purple in color. It has wide spiny jaws and tiny glowing red eyes, and it is covered in spikes. And it is sitting there and just like watching, and it looks up when it hears footsteps, but
What is that?
I mean, you could make Arcana.
Religion
It'd be
check?
Arcana or Religion might give you some access to what the fuck that thing is.
I feel like Bryn's got like a tingle sense going on. Like something feels off.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
What dish?
Sure. What would you? I'm asking the question out loud because I don't like. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, which is why I'm asking. But I can make a roll to see if I do, or like.
Bryn and November, I think, came in together.
It's a weird cat. A really weird cat.
So do you want advantage?
Yeah,
Bryn?
let's roll. You rolled Arcana. Let's roll Religion then, I guess. I got a 10.
It's some kind of devil, some kind of spined devil. It looks like that.
Do people?
It is the flappy hedgehog.
No.
It has
Fluffy.
pets. Is that a? Is
It
that
eats a chili dog and then rips out of here.
No.
No. Okay. So that's a bad.
It might be a familiar.
Sathra's trying to
not
act like
good.
this is all totally normal.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, a spined. I'm gonna go out there and say a spined devil serving like a person is probably not. It's about as unusual as Sathra being in Baldur's Gate. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird,
Okay.
but it's not like, oh my
It's not
god,
like, holy shit, what the hell?
yeah, let's
Okay.
run, get out of here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I see something new every day, I suppose.
So you said this person up by the bar, Adam, is like waiting to see Van Thamper,
Maybe
you think?
you don't really know.
Are they like waiting for like some kind of signal? You think like they're like looking over that way, or
Make
I'm
a.
just wondering if I'm standing in line or not.
Oh no.
Okay, well I'm gonna sidestep them then.
Yeah, you just like squeeze past them. Sure.
Do the whole like I'm more important, so I'm just gonna
Yeah. She apologizes quietly as you like. She moves out of the way. She's like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, there's like a slight acknowledgement of that with like a grunt, but that's about it. And I sort of try and make eye contact with Amric.
Yeah.
To like get his
He looks
attention.
up as soon as he sees you, right? He sees like a stranger. He looks up and he smiles and he fixes the waxed ends of his mustache. Yeah, he smiles and he says, "Well, hello there. Are you my next appointment?"
I step forward, like as if answering by doing so.
He gestures to the couch
Feel
across
free
from him.
anyone else to like. Come with
Everyone
me.
else is like, no, you have to do this. Like, they've already got their
They're
own
in the
table.
couch, yeah,
Yeah,
fucking
I was-
assholes.
I was waiting for an opportunity to say, but as we walk down, we've done this before. Would it be okay if we said, when you talk to people, you know I can read their minds, so you have like a word that you say, I cast the spell, and then you ask leading questions, and we don't talk like between each other. We look like we're separate groups, but then we.
Oh, I see what you
back
mean.
at the
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That sounds like a reasonable plan for us to have already had. Sort of.
Yeah, sure. So what is the spell in question here, Sosrover? Or ability to
detect
use?
thoughts
Yeah.
I
if
would
I
just,
need to.
from previous like conversations, I feel like if November knows that if she just went up to Amric and was like, your brother's dead and blah, 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 which is like what she would tend to do, that's not what we wanted to do with this conversation. So that's why she didn't go with you. But like, if you,
Saphir has a plan, which I think she probably shared with you on the way over.
yeah.
That he's gonna act like she's a cultist of Baal.
Bryn will definitely go. Oh, if she's acting like a cultist, then Bryn probably wouldn't do that. But otherwise, she's like, I am here as your bodyguard, and so
Oh,
she
totally.
would,
No,
like,
totally. Be
next
like
to
be near me.
you over
I
the
assume
shoulder.
that you have removed any sign of being a member
Yeah,
of the
the
Flaming Fist.
badge
Okay.
is gone.
So the spine devil, when it sees an Asmar, it hisses at you, right? It's like opens its, and it's like little fucking snake tongue, like licks at the air, and it's like hisses at you. Its spines all kind of come up, and Amric puts his hand up, and he's like, "No, Kashara, don't be rude. We got guests, and you know we
cats
serve
don't
anyone."
really like me very much.
Cats don't like.
Sorry about that.
And he laughs like he thinks you're making a joke, and he
Maybe
he
she
says,
is.
"Yeah,
Maybe
right."
her
Okay.
9 is not.
Yeah. And so he says, please, ladies. He gestures to the couch.
Saphir takes a seat. Like she knows how this goes. He's probably one of those guys who likes to do the whole like drink first, ask questions.
Bryn does the stand like next to her shoulder.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Cash.
The bouncer
You perch on the thing like the devil.
the bouncer next to you looks over at you and just kind of gives you a like, yeah, I also am cool muscle.
So here is my gambit,
Yeah.
friends. Okay. In the audio logs, we heard that the brothers are maybe after Mortlock, right?
Mhm.
And that Amric is the sketchy boy who goes out and does sketchy boy things, right? Because Thirstwell's like sitting at home being like, me or whatever. Like,
That's exactly what Thurswell sounds like. If you were to go and talk to her now, you'd be like, "No, guys, what are you doing here?"
so here is my gambit. Amric is the guy who set up Mortlock to die. And I am going to act like I know that, and I'm here to like collect on that, basically, is the plan. So I want to try and get more information on the plan going forward by becoming more involved with having succeeded in the plan previously.
Sure.
That's
is
the
great.
move. Just so you all know out of game what my play is here.
Mm.
I think that's going to be the play. So I sit down across from our boy Amric.
Mhm.
Oh God, I don't know any ball shit.
How do you feel about balls, Amric?
Oh no.
God.
Oh no. I'm gonna sit down across from him and I say, a mutual problem has resolved itself.
Well, I usually start with hello, but I see we're going straight to business.
I like to cut right to the quick.
He looks pointedly at your sword and says, well, I find myself unsurprised. I presume you're not here for a loan, then.
It's not really a question of what you can do for me now, but what we have already done for you.
I don't believe we've been previously acquainted, ma'am.
Not personally, but the dark cloaks, you know, it's concealing. I'm trying to like lead him to where I want him to
Yeah, and he smiles and says, well, I have to admit you have me at a disadvantage. I'm a simple man. Treat me so. Tell me, what is it that we have business together about exactly?
I look over to as if like gauging whether the bouncer could hear what I'm saying. It's one of those moves that's like,
Oh, yeah.
you really wanted me to do that? Like
He looks over at the bouncer, who works for the establishment, not for him, and he just goes. And the bouncer looks at Amric for just a second and then walks away. He just goes,
backs up.
just fucking goes somewhere else. Like, fine, Amric, you want to be that way? And he turns back and he says, yeah, so he turns back to you and he says, please.
there has been a victim of the Lord of Murder. A victim I think you know very personally.
Well, if someone that I know personally has become a victim of all this terrible cult activity that's been happening in the city of late, why, that would be tragic. I am sorry to hear that. And you've come here to deliver this news?
I thought it best to inform you personally of this particular loss of life.
He nods, and he says, so will there be a funeral for this poor person I can attend and show my grievances, or?
I don't think that there's going to be much remaining of the large and impressive stature.
Ah, well, you know what they say, the bigger they are. And he looks over at Bryn, the harder they fall.
He fell very hard.
And kind of gives you a real slow look up and down, and he says, who do you report to exactly?
I don't think I know that guy's name, unfortunately.
Yeah, like, I don't think you ever learned the name of any of the, like.
Wait, Voss?
Yeah,
No, you did, but you didn't learn it. He didn't come running. He didn't come running at you with his knife. Be like, I'm Voss, and stab you. Like, you killed him before you learned his name.
Was it on his like lapel?
No.
I think the easiest way to do this is I report to none other than bloodshed itself.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might be the angle. Okay, let's have you make a deception.
Check.
This is the
Can
deception
I use
check.
an advantage again? 'Cause I feel
This
like
is
it's
the one that
really
matters.
important.
Yeah, let me find
I've
Amric's.
been tracking it. There's 15 left.
Let me find Amric's character sheet.
And you know what? Sathra's not even super lying to herself. It's like, yeah, no, I kill people. It's fine.
Yeah, somewhere in whatever hellish plane that Dendar lives on, Dendar's like, shut up, you worship me. Come on. God.
Bitch, I gave you a cool sword.
Sorry, I just gave you that sword. God damn it. Okay, let me see. Let me see here. I can just go straight to the NPCs. There we go. Amric Van
I know this
Pamper.
is all like a huge assumption, but I'm really hoping that's how the plot
You're taking a huge risk being like, yep, we killed your brother for you, and that he's not going to be like, you killed my brother, and so tries to murder you.
I mean, if that's how it goes, that's how it goes.
All right, make a
Deception check.
Yeah, make that deception check.
All right, this is at advantage.
Okay.
15.
Okay. All right.
Is he going to make a check to see if he believes her?
Yes, he did. I rolled it.
Because, like, on a normal day, he's pretty perceptive about these sorts of things.
Mhm.
But thankfully, we've talked about this, and it's going to go a different way.
Hell
he's going to
yeah.
roll a 4.
Okay, good. So he rolls a 4 instead of whatever he would have rolled. Excellent. Okay. What is it? Like, what happens that distracts him in this moment or like makes Sathra's story seem more real? Like what, and this is a question for Dave. How does that manifest? Like that fate just nudges you from whatever universe you were in into this one where he gets a 4 instead.
Yeah. I think it's something that Sosarova is still kind of learning about. We saw a little bit of it before with the portent of us being saved by Bryn.
Yeah.
It's still mostly noticing things, but I think Sosarova has, for the time being, slightly unremembered dreams of flashes of the day coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll forget them by the time they wake up. But yeah, for now it's still in dreams, and it just turns out that that's the way that it's gonna have gone. Don't actually change anything themselves.
Yeah.
For the time being, maybe when
I love the idea too that like in future, like the more powerful Sosarova becomes, the more clear this is, and like maybe it's moments of focus where Sosarova just shifts themselves into another slightly alternate universe. You're like, I don't like this universe, and Sosarova concentrates for a second, and we just move you over into one where things work differently. So
at the moment, it's waking up and still feeling like you're dreaming for a little bit.
Yeah,
you kind of have deja vu of something that's about to happen.
Oh, I love it. That's great. Okay, so Emmerich, yeah, when you say that, like I serve none, and Emmerich smiles and he says, "Oh, I love a woman with dedication." He nods. Religion has missed me thus far. I find myself ultimately much too busy for it, but when I see it in others, it's an admirable trait. I figure I'll pick a god myself when the time comes. Maybe I'll consider yours. And he grins, big smile. And he says,
"My lord is uncomplicated."
And he smiles and says, "Well, if the deed's done, then I can assure you that your organization will receive the appropriate payment we agreed upon."
I was sent here with a secondary motive. The cult asks only what they can do for you and yours, Lord Van Thepper.
He smiles again, like you're just like, you can't tell if he's happy with what you're saying.
Yeah,
or
it's
if
like
it's
a
like
slimy.
Yeah.
Kind of...
And so he just still has this like evil kind of grin on his face, and he says, "Well, I'm sure that we'll have further targets for you and your kin when the time comes. But for now, operation of the bathhouse is to fall to Vaz, of course."
Of course. Are these targets going to be of a similarly personal nature?
No. This was an unfortunate exception that we needed to make. My baby brother had his priorities incorrectly assigned. It is a shame that it came to this, but the boy's always been real slow. So sometimes you talk and you think they're listening, but, well, let's not worry about my family anymore.
I'm so glad this worked, by the way.
Right? You're just like...
But I'm not sure what, like, on an out-of-game level.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I should be, like, pointing this. So if people have...
So we wanted to know about Krieg.
Yeah, we need to angle it into Krieg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you heard about a loose end or something. And
I can definitely make it work. I'm like,
yeah.
The Fist have been snooping around, but I hear that Raven Guard has been dealt with, at least temporarily. So I don't think their organization will be an issue for us. However, I haven't heard of anything final about Lord Krieg.
He raises an eyebrow. That's all. The only reaction you get out of him is like a slight like raise of the eyebrow. Now, where did you hear that name? The Fist have been asking around about Krieg, have they?
Oh, yes.
And what sorts of things have they been asking?
They're looking for him, as if he might be a solution to a problem that they're having. If you happen to know where he is, then the cult can deal with that for you.
Well, that's absurd, isn't it? To ask if Favius Krieg is here in Baldur's Gate, they might as well be looking for Elminster or the Blackstaff. Barking up the wrong tree, I think. Why, that poor fool died along with the rest of those people in Elturel.
Well, people do have their folk heroes, as it were. You mentioned two of them. Krieg sits alongside those two. So, if he is in any way capable of rallying some kind of defense, it's a problem.
And he leans over and he puts a hand on your knee. And he says, real close, he says, "Now you don't worry your pretty little head about Favius Krieg anymore. You just go back to doing whatever it is you do. Killing and the like. Keep the Fist busy, and then you let me worry about all that Krieg business. We understand each other?" And he like squeezes your leg a little.
Sathra's like unfazed by the physicality of this. Like, that's not an issue for her. Just because like she doesn't really get, cozy about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But she's also not very good at reading people.
Yeah.
But I have a big, like bodyguard friend who's listening to this whole thing who maybe
that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, like Bryn, if you, because Sathra's
I can give you advantage.
Sathra's kind of, well, the thing is, I don't think you can give advantage because you're not able to communicate, right? Like you can't, there's no communal effort, but Bryn can make an insight check on him watching this happen.
Did we say Sosarova was like listening in on his thoughts or something?
I was going to wait for a cue, but as he leaned in, I think I panic cast it, and to try and hide the panic cast, I kick you really hard in the shin under the table.
So November's just like, ah!
I would
and I try and just like blah 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 blah.
So November, you need November to cause a scene so that nobody knows you're casting a spell.
Right.
Okay.
Because it takes
so
loudness.
Yeah.
I yelp really loud. See you start doing, is it verbal and somatic?
I love the idea that you're trying to just make it look like gnomish gibberish. Like you're just waving your arms and shouting in some language nobody understands.
It's all three, yeah.
It's verbal and somatic. Okay, so you kick me, I yelp really loud, and then notice you start doing the spell, and then like get up, grab my calf, and like start hopping over to the bar.
Okay. So yeah, you make a big scene, and so Sorovo, you cast your spell. I think probably these guys, the thugs, they like come over to be like, "Oh, what's all this?" and like try to figure out what's going on. Like, why are you shouting? What's happening? But I don't think you notice you cast a spell.
Okay. So it's a long one, but if I remember correctly, surface thoughts I get immediately on him, but then he'll get a save for deeper stuff. So as he leans in and does the kind of squeezing thing, that's when I'm like, what's he thinking about Favius Krieg? Top of his brain.
Yeah. Okay. So he gets a saving throw, right?
He does when I dive deeper. I get surface thoughts.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, Amric Van Thamper only has 2 intelligence, so it just doesn't work.
Oh, that's a shame.
You open up his mind, and inside, all you hear is like a one-person jug band going. Okay, all right. So his surface thoughts are self-effacing, but like he's proud of himself. Everything's coming together. He's in charge. He's in control. This is great, right? There's just a wash of like satisfaction. And he's doing that. He's thinking about the words he's saying. So you're hearing in his mind what he's saying to Sathra.
All right. Let's probe a little deeper then.
Okay.
But I've been thinking about this for a little while. And again, it's important for this to go the way that I want it to.
Okay.
Which is also the way that it was always going to go, obviously.
Right.
So
you want to nudge his saving throw?
Yeah. On his wisdom saving throw, he rolls a 7.
Okay.
Whatever his bonus is.
So normally you have to kind of like permeate the veil of someone's conscious thought to like delve into their memory, get into their head, right? And normally that requires being sort of surreptitious. The mind has its own defenses. But in this case, in your mind's eye, as you envision, you go through the process of the spell, you envision the foggy barrier that is Amric Van Thamper's mental defenses. But above, it's all metaphorical, but above and beyond all this, drawing him away from the back door of his mind, you see 2 glowing snake eyes kind of like floating above his vision. And it's like he's just focused on Sathra, right? You're seeing her eyes and he's just leaned in, like talking to her. And it allows you to slip in unnoticed into his mind.
It's
to
like
gain
a combined
access.
suggestion /
Yeah,
detect.
right? Like you're very charismatic, which means that people pay more attention to you, which can be a problem sometimes, but this allows Sosorovo to skulk in behind and slip past. And Amric is a very well mentally disciplined person. In another slightly adjacent alternate universe, you would have been soundly shut out.
Yes, I imagine so.
So if you probe deeper, if it succeeds, or if they fail, the target fails, you get insight into its reasoning, its emotional state, and something that looms large in its mind. So emotional state, yes, the surface level stuff is like smug, like I am in control, but there's fear under that. There is an element of it that's like, am I? Are we sure? And that's where the like squeezing on the leg is like this. He doesn't suspect Sathra, right? But the relationship between the Van Thampers and the cult is one directional. They tell you what to do. And he is trying to remind Sathra of that, to be like, honey, you work for us. You do as I say, and I'm telling you, drop this Krieg business. And when you think of when Thavius Krieg comes up in his mind, you witness a strange image of a cellar or a basement or something, and some kind of creature like shambling in the darkness. You can hear heavy breathing, and there is this sense, this almost like embarrassed sense of fear of that thing, like something scary lives in the basement, and Amric doesn't want to like go down there. And the word Thavius Krieg, there is a moment of hesitation that doesn't show on his face, but reads in his mind, that thinking about Krieg makes him think of this thing in the basement.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you get to delve around this, and I think as long as you have concentration, right, like you can continue to like interrogate his thinking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And because I've really wanted to do this combination, I have my book out on the table, and I'm leaning on one hand and with the other touching the book, and it's recording the thoughts that I'm reading directly into the book with encode memory.
Nice. That's very cool. Yeah. So nobody notices because November, and like November, you're like, ow, my leg, and the dog is barking. Like it's just total chaos. And when you come over to the bar, the brown-skinned woman, she moves to get out of your way all of a sudden because you just like walk up to the bar. She turns And you notice that under the bar, like where you might hang, like if there was pegs or you might hang like a bag or something normally, underneath you see a long sword and it's leaned up against the bar. Like she didn't sneak it in or anything, but she's taken it off her belt and set it down in front of her and was covering it with her legs. And when you make a perception check.
Okay. What's it called when you put your longsword into
scabbard?
Scabbard. I get a 19.
Yes, it's in a scabbard. Also, the scabbard is unusual. It's carved. It looks old, like very, very old. It's weathered. It used to be painted, but it looks like all the paint is worn off. Scabbards are mostly made out of wood and leather, I think.
Leather?
Yeah, they're like coated in leather and wood on the inside.
It's mostly leather.
It's mostly leather.
So the leather it was painted at one point, but all the paint is worn off, and on it you see. You got a 19. That's pretty good. You see what looks like a group of like cavalry riding across a plain with swords drawn over their head. They're like, there's this like parade of riders. And you notice that. And she looks at you. Do you make any effort to hide the fact that you just like eyeballed her sword?
No.
She looks at you.
I might even talk about it.
She looks at you and she scowls and she like covers it again with her cloak. But she apologizes. She's like, sorry. And she like turns her back a bit to you.
Oh, I mean, why would you hide such a lovely piece of work?
And she looks at you again and she looks around and she's like, I have to go. And she reaches down and she takes the sword and she goes to walk past you to like leave.
Fine.
Yeah, like you've spooked her and now she's leaving.
I just thought it was a cool sword.
And while all this is going on, nobody notices Sosorovo writing down the contents of the mind of Amric Van Thamper.
Oh, well, bye.
Don't worry, Blooch. I've had those exact feelings in real life. I compliment people's swords.
I just wanted to talk about your sword. So Amric squeezes your leg, Sathra, and he says, do we understand each other? And leans back.
And I sort of lean in as if I'm gonna say something like intimidating, because hey, I'm a ball cultist. Like, don't touch my fucking shit. You know, like I'll kill you for a corn chip. I like lean in and I just go eminently. Basically, like, yes, we understand each other, but also I'm spooky.
Yeah, right. And like only some of this is an act because like being a Dendar cultist isn't.
Yeah, it's the same. It's
not
like
that
nightmares and murder or murder.
Like,
it's like the same.
Ball and Dendar, and they're about even power level wise too. So like they'd probably be like, so you want to end the world, huh? And Dendar's like, yep. And Ball's like, cool. Could you just murder a lot of people between now and then? And Dendar's like, yeah, totally, dude.
Well, like my goal here as Sathra, like in the background of this whole thing, is that he remembers the shit out of like the look of my eyes and it haunts him forever, like nightmare style. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He'll definitely, and we know from what we saw in Sosorovo, like it'll be your eyes that he remembers, right? Like, yeah. And so he leans back and his effect sort of like seems to change a little bit. He relaxes a little, whether that's real or an act. He relaxes a little bit and he says, well, it feels like I've a weight lifted from my shoulders. We've been carrying that baggage a long time. I appreciate you taking it off our hands. And there's no reason to believe that it's going to turn up elsewhere.
Unless by elsewhere you mean the bottom of the like the bottom of the bay, then. Yeah,
and he nods and he says, "Oh, little brother always did like the river. A fitting end."
And she sort of like stands at this point, like dusts herself off a little bit, you know, and says, "Thus will be awaiting payment." And then like turns to leave.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm just assuming that Sosorovo did the part of the plan that
You just figured. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yep. I'm not going to leave yet either.
No. Like I go expecting you to stay, sort of thing.
It's funny because it's so hard as adventurers to be like, no, we showed up here. We're not together. And they're like, listen.
We're
I
not
see
an adventuring
DPS,
party.
DPS, tank, healer. You're clearly adventurers. Like, okay, so you wanna, the two of you are gonna leave, right? Or at least go upstairs.
I think I just like take my leave at this point, like all the way out the bar.
Okay.
Because I saw him tell the bouncer what to do, so I don't want it to look like any of the other bouncers could tell him what I was doing other than in here.
Yeah. And do you go with her, Bryn?
Yeah, I think she had established that she is the bodyguard.
It's probably a quiet conversation that's like, hopefully they got what we needed. Like,
so when the two of you come upstairs and you walk out of the bar, you get a wave from the captain, like, yeah, I see you got what you needed. Thanks for coming. You go upstairs out into the rain. The ravens are gone. Everything else is the same, but the ravens have left.
All right.
They have flown away. Meanwhile, back downstairs, November, have you worked out your injured leg or whatever?
I'm so glad that worked.
I feel like what I do is I ask for some ice and then they probably don't have any. And then I just put my hand on
Yeah.
it.
So you're like, do you have any ice? And the Kenku doesn't even have the word ice in their repertoire until you say it.
They do
And
now.
the bouncer is like, you are in the wrong bar for that kind of request.
But then she just like puts her own hand on her leg while she's sitting on the stool. And it's like, a little bit of iciness. And then she says, that woman that was here, I didn't mean to. Do you know why she got so? I didn't mean to scare her off if she had.
The Kenku looks at you and cocks his head sideways and goes, customers.
I turn around to the bartender that probably has more words. Not the bartender, the bouncer.
The bouncer, yep.
Did she say why she was here?
The bouncer shakes his head and he says, in this business, you learn not to ask.
I mean, I didn't really do anything, and she just left in such a hurry. I feel bad.
I couldn't imagine why, what with your charming personality and everything.
I mean, most people react fairly kindly to it. I mean, probably around 52%. Baldur's Gate isn't really friendly, per se. Anyway, I'll go find some ice upstairs or outside or in a glacier somewhere. Bye.
Okay, you leave. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Awkward, extremely awkward.
So the redhead that you saw at the bar is now over in the corner talking to Amric, and he's doing that like thing where he's holding his cloak and he's kind of like wringing it nervously, and you see him approach like, oh god, now I got to tell Amric I can't pay him back.
Oh, the money lender job thing.
Yeah, and so he goes to sit as you leave. So Sorovo, is there anything else that you want to do?
Yeah, I want to take out a loan.
Yeah, okay.
Because like we're gonna kill these people, so I'm not paying it back.
No, I love it. Okay. All right. So you wait until this guy begs for, there's a moment, there's no begging for his life. There's no, Amric is not a leg breaker kind of guy, but this other dude, you see the beginning of the conversation, you see him walk over, and then the next part of the conversation is the redhead being like, God's bless you, Amric Van Thamper. I swear, just another couple of days. I've got a cousin, and they're sending me some money up from Am. I promise I'll have it for you as soon as I can. And Amric nods, and he says, see that you do, Valtus. I wouldn't want to have Kashara here come and ask more aggressively. And he reaches up and like pets the devil, and it kind of like hisses at him and like swings its tail back and forth. And Valtus looks at it and looks at him, and he's like, God bless you. Thank you so much, Amric. And I'm sorry, Lord Van Thamper. And he like basically runs off. And the bouncers both laugh at him like, ha, 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 like another idiot in too deep with the Van Thampers. And and runs off, leaving. And Amric looks around like, do I have any more customers? What's going on?
Yep. Hello.
And he pauses and kind of like blinks at you. And he says, well, hello there.
It's absolutely and unequivocally my pleasure, Lord Van Thamper.
He turns and he says, Kashara, this talking hat has such fine manners. I'm very impressed. Well, you know my name, but I'm afraid I don't know yours.
Yes. My name is hang on, actually,
Steve.
my backstory.
It's a very good
Dave.
name.
It's Dave.
Hold on. Oh,
Your
why
name-
didn't I write that down?
That
Hold on,
Mulan
give me-
scene. Yeah, I have a name.
It's a good one too.
That's a
Players,
good one too.
one of my
On the
players
wiki.
legitimately sent that to me, and it
Mhm.
has like DM trying to name an NPC. I'm just
Yep, every day.
called out.
Yeah, this is why playing with people like Jesse Cox, for example, are so funny, because Jesse will tell you the name of your NPC and it'll be a nightmare that you will have to say over and over and over again.
Blue
Flynn.
Flagmar.
Flynn Blagmar.
It's a common name.
Yeah. I tell him that my name is
Blue Bloon. Moon Moon.
Slockchalk Mugachu. That's a real Jesse Cox NPC name. Slockchalk Mugachu. Yep.
I tell him that my name is Plinbong Schnicktick.
Okay. So he looks at you, and when you say that, he's like, excuse me?
It's a gnomish name. I'm actually a gnome.
He says, listen, friend, there's no need for all the haberdashery. I meet with people who use assumed names all the time. It's just a matter of politeness. I need something to call you. So I'm going to call you Franklin. Yeah, I think that'll do. What can I do for you today, Franklin?
Got magic experiments to do. A little bit under the radar. Need money. Spell components. But
okay. Like, I do appreciate a man of science. What sort of funds does an operation like that require?
well, I figure we gotta start small. Get some information on some people, then we can pay it back, and then we can look to expand. A few hundred gold, maybe 1,000 if you're willing.
When you say 1,000, he puts his hands up and he says, 1,000, it's a little above my operating capital, but a few hundred, I could make that work.
Sure.
And he looks over at the bar and he snaps and he points, and you see the Kenku like turn around, and the Kenku gets out a scroll and unfurls it and puts it on a platter, and then puts 2 glasses and fills them with wine. Sees you visiting himself with something, and so you come back and he says, here are the terms. I can offer you up to 150 gold. That's what I have on hand. Anything more than that, you're going to need to seek out bigger fish. This is just a side business for me, you see. My terms are very simple. You have a 10-day to pay me back with 25% interest. And if you don't, and he like looks around, and you hear Kashara kind of like make this weird evil purr. He says, and if you don't, well, things become somewhat more complicated, and I'm just a simple man. I like to keep things smooth, you see. So if you're amenable, and when he says that, the Kenku comes over with a tray with 2 glasses of wine and a contract, and he sets it down on the table, and then backs away. And he says, all you have to do is sign, and then you and I can have a drink. Business is concluded. I'll have someone bring you your money.
Okay. Are there any cheeky clauses in this?
Yeah, you wanna read it?
Sasarova is much smarter than I am. 19 intelligence.
Yeah, so
So
Servo is
can
very, very
Read
smart.
legalese. And I have comprehend languages up, so I can read legal.
Yeah, in so much, it is a very detailed, difficult language to understand.
Is comprehend languages a concentration spell?
Yes.
Is detect thoughts? A
Detect thoughts
concentration
also
spell?
is, yeah. So you no longer have And
No,
plus, it's
I
been
don't.
long enough that comprehend languages, but it was a good goof. I agree. So, yeah, no, it's actually a very simple contract. It's like, I, Amric Van Thamper, will give you this much. You, fill in the blank, will give me this much based on this, et cetera, et cetera. You'll pay me back in 10 days. If you don't, it's the punitive part. It's like basically the money is if you don't pay him back, he's allowed to do whatever he wants to you, pretty much, in pursuit of his repayment.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that, like, you would guess if you looked at Amric Van Thamper's paperwork cabinet, almost everybody that he has gotten to sign one of these has signed with an X, because his clientele are the kind of people who probably can't even read this contract. And so maybe when you take a minute to actually look at it, he's watching you to see if you're either actually reading it or if you're doing that thing that people that he deals with normally do, where he's like, I'm definitely reading this. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then there's, yeah, and that's a word. That there's an F in that word. Yep. No, this looks good. And it's like, you can't read, idiot. So he's watching you to see what you do. And you get to the end and you're like, yep, okay.
Great. Everything looks fine there.
Mm-hmm. So he takes out a quill and he writes in the amount, 150 gold. And he hands you the quill to sign.
Yep. And I take out a stamp
Mm-hmm.
and I stamp it.
What does the stamp look like?
The stamp looks like the royal seal of King Schnicktick.
So it probably has like gears on it or
Maybe some rocks.
something.
Yeah, not like gems or something.
Yeah.
Mining picks.
Cool. Okay. So you stamp and he says, just offhand, you sign a lot of contracts?
My family does. Do.
Family. Can't live with them. Can't have cultists murder them.
Whoa!
All right.
All right. Well, thanks. Bye.
Well, that was really fun.
And so he gestures, and the Kenku comes back holding a bag of coins, and he hands it to you. And Amric says, it does my heart such good to know I'm helping. And the Kenku goes away.
And feel free to hit me up for any magical services that you might require. I'm sure you already have people. It's just...
Let's talk about it again in 10 days or less.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
You have a
And then
good
I
night.
bow and I'm like, yes, you too, my lord. And I'll leave.
And so you walk away, and Amric turns to Kashara. He's like, well, would you look at that? You don't get to talk to a hat every day. And Kashara just like shakes her head like, you dummy. Like, shut up. And and then he leans back and he continues going through his paperwork like he did before. So where, November, Bryn, and Sathra, where do you wait for Sosorovo?
So, like, just as a note, the fact that you just like ravens flying away, that's fine. It's not a big deal. But the fact that you pointedly described it makes me feel like it's a big deal. Birds fly away. It happens.
Remember that whole being followed by creatures thing?
But they're invisible.
Or were
They
they?
aren't invisible.
Or were
Invisible
they?
and camouflaged.
I mean, invisible can mean a lot of things. But yes, Mortlock did believe that his elder brother, Thirstwell, was sending, what did he say, his creatures?
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely don't wait here on the deck of this boat.
Yeah, so you just like go down into the neighborhood and keep an eye on the wharf?
and I keep an eye on like when Sosorovo emerges. It's not like Sosorovo is super hard to spot necessarily. So.
Yeah.
I remember a place that I went to one time where they fry fish that they catch right off the dock, and it's absolutely delicious. And I go there.
Well, it's nighttime, so they're closed.
His pets
No,
don't
they're
open unseen does not necessarily mean
That's
that they're-
right, exactly. He didn't say invisible. Yeah, he said
That's
watching,
right.
unseen. You see me
Okay.
now, Thirstwell? Yeah, so his paranoia apparently is spreading. So you go across the street to another tavern or whatever where you can watch the door. And when you see Sosorovo cross the thing and come down the gangplank, I assume somebody is like, so Zerova. Like,
Yeah, we
Okay.
get them back into the fold.
okay. All right. So yeah, they meet up with you again, and now the four of you are like, I don't know, in an alley or something.
Let's head a little further away, just in case.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to hang around and like have our conversation here. It's time to go. I don't know, maybe back to the other one, the magpie one.
Yeah, we had rooms, right? We could probably just
Yeah.
extend.
You didn't
the
have to
10
kick
minutes?
me, you know. You could have just pretended to kick me. Not that it hurt very much, but just in the future.
I
It did.
didn't know about your acting skills. Turns out they're okay. We'll go for that in the future.
You did get something useful, yes? I didn't do all that posturing for nothing.
Oh yeah. He definitely knows something about what happened to him. And he paid for some of our healing potions. Very generous man. I just like show them that I got back and gone.
Take out a loan?
Well, we're not gonna pay it back.
Do you think that's wise? He had that creature. It looks scary.
That is a familiar. Mevels could probably eat it.
You hear a slightly angry meow from inside the hat, like, yeah, damn right.
Well, I mean, I didn't.
So
I guess.
when you
Look,
say
they're all
something,
gonna die soon.
when you say you knew something, is it something actionable that we can move on?
Sort of. A little bit more. It's better if you. When we get back, I'll show you in the book.
All right. So we head back to the
Mast and magpie.
the mast and magpie. Yeah.
So I get out the book. There's this weird kind of gold blob.
Well,
on
so
the
hold on.
page.
You wanna show this to them when you get back to the
Yes,
Master
please.
Magpie? Okay. All right. I just need to check something before that happens.
Do you
Just-
become
This part where we
accosted?
get attacked by imp crows.
Just see. Yeah, very well might be the part where you
Get attacked by imp crow.
Yeah, we've not done any combat this episode. You could cliffhanger. Right?
I haven't tried to kill you yet. Okay.
That could have been a combat down there. but-
Yeah.
November.
Yep.
I think. Let me just see here.
Is this I have the highest passive perception thing?
I refuse to tell you why I'm asking you. So,
Okay.
November, someone is definitely following you as you make your way through the lower city. At first, you weren't sure, right? You're like, somebody in a black cloak. There's lots of people in black cloaks. It's raining. You're in the lower city. Lots of people moving around, not want to be seen. At first, you think like, no, that can't be right. And then, maybe you stop and you catch their reflection in a window, and they like turn off to the side. But you're definitely being followed.
I feel like I tug on Sathra. No, I tug on Bryn's like arm, and I'm
Yes.
just like, I have to go get something really quick. It's just this way. You guys keep going straight. I'm lying. Just keep going straight, and I will be right back.
Like some company?
No. I'm gonna. You keep going straight, and I'm gonna just watch. Just go. And I like.
So you have this conversation, like you're basically at an
We're
intersection.
walking.
You're the
Yeah, we're-
intersection of two streets, right?
Yeah.
Standing under a street light, and that's when you like tell the party, like, "Hey, we're being
No,
followed."
I don't say it. I'm just trying to be. This is November, trying to be like cool and subtle, and not being cool or subtle.
Mm-hmm. So do you
Right.
just flat out say like we're being followed, or
I think that if you refuse to like keep going or like let her like, I'm gonna try and get around, but she's not saying like around what or around who. then-
Yeah, when you say Britain is like, right, well, we'll continue walking this way and you enjoy whatever it is you have to pick up.
Yes, it'll be just a moment, and I'm gonna try and like hide in an alley and see if they keep like whoever's following us keeps going after the group.
okay?
Can I see if I can hide?
Where are you going to hide?
You said like we're at an intersection. Is
Yeah,
there,
you're
like,
at like a crossroads. There's buildings everywhere. You're like down in the lower city, so it's quite dense.
Okay, so like one of like I'm assuming the buildings probably like overhang at some points, like a shadowier street of these 4 streets.
Oh, so you're doing to hide in like the eaves of a building or something?
Yeah,
Like,
because
leaning up
I'm
against
just
the wall?
hoping that whoever was following us will just see the 3 people and not the one. And like,
Okay, and then everybody else is going to continue up the street.
She's trying to follow the follower.
yeah.
Right. So you're going to wait and watch, and then see if they continue following or not.
The group, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're watching the intersection that, and ostensibly you want to watch for this cloaked figure.
Druid. I'm a druid. Can I turn into a rat once I hide?
Yeah.
I
Sure.
forgot I was a druid for a second. That's better at hiding. If when you're a rat, it's a lot better at hiding.
Yeah.
We're out of time.
Okay.
Okay. So you transform into a rat. You're a rat now.
Yes.
Rad November.
And your dog is just sitting there, like trying to stay out of the rain. There's like filthy rainwater coming down over the eaves, and like looks at you like, I liked you better when you weren't a rat. So you transform, and you, across from you, a door opens, and you see 2 figures come out. They see a dog and a rat. They maybe don't even see the rat. You just like don't register them. They see one of them. You see pulls his cloak back and takes a mace off of his belt. The other, as he passes, you can see he's got his hood up. He has a long, like scraggly beard, and his eyes are all like sunken. And as the 2 of them walk by, you see him reaching into a bag, and he takes out something that looks like a material component to you. And the
Okay,
2 of them
cool.
come out of that building across, and they start going towards the intersection where your friends were. And you hear them, you hear one of them say to the other, I just saw them go by. Come on.
Okay, definitely following us. What's the speed on a rat?
I don't know.
Just let me
I
one
guarantee
check.
your dog is faster.
Weirdly, probably the same as a person. Everything.
Weirdly, probably.
Now, while this happens, no, there's still no sign, November, of the people, the cloaked person that was following you.
Oh, this is a different
This is
person?
different. These people just
Oh
came
my
out of a
God.
building. Now, this goes to show, as the other 3 start to go up the street past you, you see a door open in front of you, and two more cloaked figures emerge. In the same way, you see one drawing a mace as they come around the corner, and they step out into the street and look at you. When you
me
Satsworth,
or look at the
Satsworth,
group?
no one sees you. And as you see them, and I think this is great. I'll show you the map just for a second because we're right at the end of the episode.
Oh God.
You see somebody step out in front of you up here, everybody, as you're heading that way.
Oh, God damn it.
And yeah, they throw aside the cloak, take out a mace, and you can see that this guy on his neck, he has a big black hand tattooed on his throat.
good.
And then
Good.
behind him, you see what looks at a glance like a shambling corpse, but is indeed a person.
It's a very
and,
old man.
and they step out,
It's a
and down
necromancer.
here, these 2 guys you see come out of this building and go to follow. And there's still, like I said, November, there's still no sign of the mysterious folks that were following you. And
So
I
there
think
were
that when
2
they,
people following, and then there's like
there's at least
one person
somebody,
following, and
there's at
then
least
there's
somebody
2
following you. And then now
people.
there's like 4 more guys that have just appeared,
Jesus.
waiting for you to go
following
by.
Is the lady from the bar, because I think she was a hell rider.
So that's where we'll end. We'll end on the alleyway confrontation, and we can get in a big fight at the beginning of the next episode, and we,
We
can
can
find
start
out.
the next episode with getting our asses kicked by some more NPCs that
I
have.
wonder if these ones are CR5.
So great point. A couple of quick things from the episode. Great point, Lauren, on that one. Good observation on the potential hellrideriness of, like, if November describes that to you, you would recognize it immediately.
I have read a lot of the Hellrider wiki
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. So definitely, yeah, this person seems to be the case. And also that whole plan to like lie to Amric. So this is great. Chat already saw this, and this is what I love about showing chat my screen. You rolled a 15 on your deception check.
Yeah.
I rolled a 16 on my insight check. and then Dave bumped it down. So the only reason you got away with that, there's an alternate universe where Amric was like, liar, and then bad things happened. But that was, clutch use
But
of that
also
ability.
the fact that I was like, this guy's the sketchy boy who got his.
It was great. Like this,
and it worked out.
I know,
I
this
was
is the
like,
most.
what?
This is the most successful like PC plan I've seen in a while. It worked great. The dice agreed with you. This felt like critting on a Blades in the Dark like engagement roll. Like we're gonna go in on a lie and we're gonna see where it takes us, and it worked out fantastically. You guys did great. Good plays all around. So next episode we will see you're gonna be confronted by some at least some Bay Knights and some Merkelites, and where there's Bay Knights and where there's
probably
Merkelites,
Ballites, too.
you know balls up in that mix. So. We'll
there's
have
gonna
to
be some more bullshit aura that stabs us for 1 million damage.
I don't want it.
Coming
So
right
I
up,
did
friends.
during the prep, I did note that if this adventure wanted to be extremely bullshit to you, it would have given the Fists of Bane swords or spears instead of maces,
So here's a question, Adam.
because they doubles piercing damage.
If I renounce Dendar and worship Baal,
Uh-huh.
can I have a death aura?
No, you cannot.
Aw.
And
Ball-
Why do
I
these
become
guys
a
have
cleric
it?
of
Because,
Baal.
they're Nightblades. They're special. All right, let's say our goodbyes to our lovely audience, and we will bid a farewell to the episode. Let's start over here. Blue Jay, please, where can people find you on the internet if they are interested in doing so?
Well, for one, you can find me here next week, freaking the fuck out. Big fight time, I guess. Or I don't know, maybe we could talk our way out of it. Maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
Probably not. But rest of the time you can find me over on Twitter at bluejay_712, just like it says in the overlay. Or on twitch.tv/bluejay or patreon.com/bluejay712. I'm just mostly a combination of that name and numbers schema everywhere. And I don't think I have anything extremely exciting going on except for this Friday for the Penny Arcade Vampire show that I do. We're dressing up.
Oh, you're
So I
dressing
got,
up. Cool.
Like vampire
Ooh.
teeth and
Nice.
it's a Halloween-y sort of thing.
Cool. Let's go backwards in the order. Let's go over here. Elf, do the thing.
Oh, hey, it's me. Hi, friends. You can find me at twitch.tv/distractedelf or on Twitter at distractedelf, where I am usually. I'm playing a lot of Total Warhammer at the moment. So if you like grand strategy games, it's the whole deal, and also here, obviously next week, and yeah, that's it.
That's it. Excellent. I've watched you play some of those Warhammer
campaign
streams.
right now
They're pretty
is-
fun.
The campaign right now is Ark in the Black. So if you like necromantic Egypt, then
Nice.
That's where we're at.
Excellent. Cool. Down below, rejoining us again. We missed you. Playing Brain Orem. It's Lauren. Do it.
I'm back, and I also just realized that I'm a 3rd level ASMR. So get ready for some Radiant Soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm planning to suggestion one of these nerds ASAP.
I feel like
Great.
using like a Radiance AoE in Baldur's Gate, everyone in town will be able to see it. They'll be like, what the hell is going on
Oh, so this
over
is
there?
like exalted.
Yeah, pretty much. Just-
Great. It's gonna start glowing. It's gonna be perfect.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Random Tuesday. You can find me at all the places on Random Tuesday, Twitch, Twitter, all of that good stuff. I'm very excited. I got to take really cool Aloy photos with Adam and Blue Jay, who held lights in an amazing way, and also nearly froze both her toes and fingers off.
No.
So I'm very excited. Those will go up over the next few weeks over on Patreon and
Yes.
on Instagram and Twitter and all of those cool things. They're very, very cool, and I'm very excited.
They turned out really good. I'm very proud of them.
So if you like cosplay, come check that stuff out. Yeah, that's
Cool.
me.
Cool. And last but not least, our future seeing prognosticator, Dave.
Hello. I knew you were going to ask me about my. No, sorry.
I mean, so did I.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming by. As always, if you'd like to follow my stuff, Twitter at Dave_the_human. I did want to mention with the Extra Life donations that people did, I sent out emails to some people at the tier who are looking for the divinations, but I didn't hear back from a couple of people. So if you think you're eligible for that, i.e. you donated $20, please feel free to message me on Twitter. My DMs are open, and include like what email you use to do that. And yeah, if some people are still interested in that, then we can get those done. I did a tarot reading for someone, which they really enjoyed. So
that's so cool. Yeah, I've got some Floon greetings to record this evening, so I'll start sending those out as well. I've been polishing up the voice. It's been a while. I haven't got to do it. So
yeah,
cool. Well, thanks, Dave. Well, I mean, all I have to say is
thanks for coming, everybody. I appreciate your being here. We wouldn't be able to do a show without you, so you better come back next week or there's gonna be trouble.
It's a good voice. I like doing it.
You have to say something like, "Dear Mom," at the end.
That's right.
I mean, the thing is,
Stay away from my mother.
the thing is like, it's fine when you're doing it without the voice thing. It's good, but then you do the voice thing, and I'm just immediately like,
yeah, right. It's extra creepy. So it's pretty good. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, so we'll be back next time with more Descent into Avernus. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. As always, you can check out back episodes in video form on our YouTube channel, Roll20 app, or in podcast form, wherever the podcasts are found. That's it. We will see you next time. Thanks for coming, everybody. Goodbye.